What's going on, guys? Brandon here. Protecting yourself from the government. That is what we are trying to do here always, every single day on TikTok, Global Macro Chat, on TikTok, on our YouTube, on our newsletter. This is what we're doing every single day to try to protect you from the government, protect you from dilution, protect you from politicians, protect you from people that don't have your best interest at heart. This is, are we in a recession right now? I think this is one of the biggest things that everyone is looking at, everyone is facing. And it is really the biggest thing we have going right now. Obviously, as the world goes around, this is it. So yes, clearly we're in a recession. We are a lagging indicator is, 2 successive quarters of negative growth. This obviously has been happening for a long time. We had inflation raging all of 2021, and we have to have a year and a half later, the powers that be, the economists, come out and tell us what's going on, if we're in a recession or not. I mean, everyone can feel it. Everyone can feel it at the gas pump. Everyone can feel it with their energy prices. However, if you're prepared, if you are in hard assets, you're not feeling this nearly as much. If you were in oil, if you had gold, if you had silver, and yes, Bitcoin as well, you're not feeling this nearly as much as the average person. And I think that's really the thing I want everyone to take from this going forward. And this is really what our channel is all about, is taking that to the next level. Again, Ron, we did our live with Ron last week. He couldn't be here today, but we're doing the pod here without him today. So we will take off, starting with, again, are we in a recession? Yes, of course we are. Why are stocks crashing? 401k, everything, pension. Well, of course, again, a good buddy of mine just the other day was telling me how his dad at Delphi 10, 12 years ago had his pension just wiped out, and it was given pennies in the dollar because of what happened. And in the crash, this will happen again and again and again. It might not happen just them taking stuff right off the shelf from you, but it's going to happen through dilution. It's going to happen through, buybacks. It's going to happen through, any means possible. It's going to happen through inflation. It's going to happen through them inflating their way out of this mess that they're in. The Fed is in a rock and a hard place. It can't go anywhere, and so it's going to go in this demand destruction route, which is really the big thing, the big word of the day, the big phrase of the day, which is demand destruction. So again, I appreciate you guys jumping on here on the TikTok, on the YouTube. Please like and subscribe to us. We're going to be talking about this every single day, all day long, what's going on in the economy. And I truly believe that we are in for things we have never seen before, because we've never been in this place before. Remember, all the global crashes and depressions and recessions, these things didn't involve a global economy before. I think this is what is literally talked about zero, talked about not at all, which is every single country in the world is involved. The whole world is involved. So we haven't had that before. We've only had a couple countries at a time that were involved in previous crashes and recessions, or that world reserve currency is being lost. So I think that is really one of the big things that we need to have this conversation about going forward, and what that means. It's going to take some time, but at the end of the day, I think that I believe, from all my study and from everything I've seen, is that the world reserve currency will transition. This will transition from the dollar being the reserve currency to a basket of currencies, to really, I think, the CBDC, central bank digital currencies, are what absolutely is going to be the big thing coming out of this. I truly think they're waiting for the big one. They're waiting for this to transition. Once they're ready with the central bank digital currency, boom, all of a sudden it goes. And it might be a whimper and not a bank, quite honestly. They might just forgive debts. I do think we just had some articles come out this week and videos about people getting their homes bought above value by hedge funds, the Proxies, the Blackstones, the BlackRocks, buying homes from people that can't afford them. Their property tax has gone up too much, whatever it might be. Those are the things that are going to happen going forward. And then they're going to bribe you and say, hey, we're going to use this central bank digital currency. If you use this, then there we go. We've got your house. You'll own nothing. You'll be happy. You're going to rent everything from us. And that really is the end of the American way. It's the end of the American ethos, abolish all private property. That's what the Marxists wanted. That's what Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum, that's what they want. This is not me speaking. This is, really just the start of everything that's going to be happening going forward. So that's, again, right down here, the great narrative, the great reset. This is what will happen going forward if we are not careful. So again, we're having some stuff there. Not sure why it's blacking out there. So appreciate you guys joining in. Let me know, give some hearts, please double tap. Let me know what you want to talk about. I have a few things here I want to talk about, but they're things that really aren't being, the CNBC, CNN, the average viewer is not going to be talking about this, and we have to join together. Community is the biggest thing going forward, whether it's from recession, depressions, doesn't matter. Community is the biggest thing by far that we need. So whether it's people just right around us, whether it's people online, we have to have community. And this is something that I struggled with a lot of my life, quite honestly. I tried to just go at it my own a lot of times. I grew up playing hockey, got to play professional hockey, was very fortunate, and it was just, I try to do a lot of things on my own. Even though it was a team sport, whether it's in the summer, working out, or whatever it might be, I was trying to do things on my own too much and not using, business is a team sport, whether it is sports, whether it's business, whether it's family, you have to be a team, you have to communicate, you have to be with the people around you. And that's one of the big lessons I took away from the first 20, 25 years of my life playing hockey, getting to very high levels. Well, that next 10 years has really been a study of how do I use my team? How do I use my team in business? How am I studying better? How am I investing better? How am I building businesses better? Our real estate team, our investing, our portfolio, our family office. We want a family office. And I think that a lot of you here, you sense that you don't want to give control away to other people. You don't want to be in a 401k or a pension because you're worried. You don't have any control. They get to tell you, the elites get to tell you what to do with your retirement. You get taxed on it if you take it out early. You are under full control. And that's where we really, I truly believe that we are in this place where those that have control will make the rules. Those that have the gold will make the rules. Those that have the Bitcoin will make the rules going forward. We're seeing this with Putin, taking gold, taking Bitcoin for energy, for oil payments. We're seeing the dollar standard be crushed everywhere. The Saudis, we're seeing the Chinese taking yuan, renminbi, all these other currencies, yen, for energy. And we're entering that next phase. And we had 1933, FDR took us out of the gold standard, really, truly. And he said the common citizen cannot own it anymore, and to give it back to them, and Executive Order 6102, and then boom, all of a sudden they revalued gold. You lost, if you gave up your gold, you lost half your net worth right there, or you doubled your net worth if you held on to your gold. So that kind of thing is going to happen again, 1933, and then we had which was Bretton Woods in 1944, and then we had Bretton Woods 1, and then Bretton Woods 2 was really 1971 when the Nixon shock, when he took us off the gold standard. And then really Bretton Woods 3 as, I forget his first name, but Dalton Posar really kind of coined the term Bretton Woods 3. And that was really February this year when Ukraine got invaded by Russia. So Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert have talked about that a lot. I mean, that's really the transfer to energy money at that point. We're now, we need things of actual value, which I was going to touch on here a little bit. I think some of the most important stuff going forward is primary and tertiary assets, understanding those. That's going to be massive. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, really getting comfortable with investing in primary assets, not tertiary assets. We want primary assets. That is so key, because when you are making investments off of derivations, off of derivatives, we've seen that. Warren Buffett calls them weapons of mass destruction, derivatives. So we don't want derivatives. Those are the things that get blown up over time, whether it's junk bonds, high yielding things, crypto accounts. Remember, there's a difference. There's Bitcoin, and then there's everything else, as Fidelity says. There's the altcoins, there's the Celsius, the Voyagers, the Three Arrows Capital, all these people getting blown up because they are hypothecating, rehypothecating, leveraging things out. So that is really what we want to focus on. Primary assets versus tertiary assets. Chris Martinson talks about this all the time. And then again, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think that's another really base level thing that we need to discuss and talk about, which is getting right with our Maslow's hierarchy. What do humans need? So we need these things: food, shelter, water, energy, and other humans need that too. So let's invest in those things. Let's get some food storage. Let's I'm kind of going with some of the solution here after, and then we'll talk about some of the problems as well. But we have Maslow's hierarchy of needs that needs to be talked about and needs to be focused on going forward, because we are going into this world where there's going to be supply shortages, supply shocks, and things that are going on. So you have to be ready to withstand those shocks. That it really is the biggest thing. So primary versus tertiary assets. We've got Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And again, we talk about this. If you're on TikTok, it's the link in bio. We talk about this on our newsletter or the YouTube channel there. You can go there and check that out. We talk about this all the time, which is freedom. Wealth. People talk about wealth and finances, all that stuff, and that's not what I am. There's plenty of gurus and plenty of people out there that can talk about financial freedom and all this garbage that's rampant on TikTok, it's rampant on YouTube. If you want to go find out how to make passive income, there's a billion people. There's people shoving ads in your face. Go invest in real estate. Go make passive income through that. Just keep doing it over and over again until you are financially free, until your passive income exceeds your expenses. I think at this point, there's a lot of people, especially you here probably, that understand that. Whether it's investing in dividend-paying stocks or rental real estate, which again, I don't believe we're in that phase. Believe me, I'm in the real estate industry. I've been in for years. It's very hard. You have to spend a lot of time, money, and energy to find real good cash flowing properties. And they can be found, don't get me wrong, but we've spent a lot of time, energy, and money trying to do it. And we've got a number of rentals and we got a bunch of investments. However, it's just, you're breaking your back trying to get these right now. So it's just not the market. Don't swim upstream. Make things easy on yourself. Get into, again, this is what we're doing. I'm getting into primary assets, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and food storage, guns, ammo, things that are of real value that can be traded, you can be used. Those are the real assets that are going to be so important going forward, especially as prices rise. When you go into higher inflationary environments, commodities rise in value. So commodities are needed to build all those things. So primary, and again, we're going to keep beating this dead horse, primary assets. Primary, not tertiary. And we want to think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So again, if you guys are liking this, please hit like, subscribe, go to our bio. You can see the link there to our investment letter where we go through this. We actually just dropped our portfolio investment our portfolio update for the month. So you can see our portfolio and where it's allocated, and that changes monthly, obviously. And I'm gearing up for a lot of big stuff, hopefully going forward, because I really think there's going to be some more demand destruction. The Fed's saying that. I usually have a rule that whatever Fed or politicians say, you do the opposite. However, I do think that they're going to continue destroying the markets here a bit because they want to get inflation down. They have to get inflation down. So they're going to continue doing that. So I do think that crypto is going to go down. Bitcoin, I do think that other asset classes, stocks, are going to continue going down a bit because they want to get the inflation rate down. And again, on that topic too, CPI, we have to understand that is not real. 1980, when you go to shadow stats, when you look at the 1980, the way they did their computing of it then is way different than it is now. They've taken things out, hedonic adjustments, all this stuff, just to mask what's going on, just to get rid of the true inflation. So that is really, really incredibly important to understand that and knowing what's happening. And Warren Buffett always says that we need to probably have about 20 to 24% on our investments when you're investing in something, because that's what's going to beat inflation at the end of the day. And that really hasn't changed. He said that for decades. So again, appreciate you guys joining in. Like I said, go to our link in bio and check that out there, because we just did our portfolio update today. We do that monthly. And everything I do, like I said, everything we're doing here is about freedom and controlling your assets, controlling your wealth, controlling what you are doing, and not letting the elites run the show for you. Because we've seen what happens when they're running everything. It's a disaster, right? They are diluting everything. They're causing the wealth inequality to skyrocket. People are rioting and protesting the streets. They're violent with each other because they don't know what's going on. And it's generally said that when food costs get to 40% or more of your monthly budget, people start rioting. We saw it in many protests and revolutions throughout history. And the more people are squeezed, the more they feel like caged animals and they don't know where to go. So we have to be cognizant of these things, and we have to be prepared to really take advantage of what's coming and not be victims of it. I do believe at the end of the day, if we're resilient, if we're prepared, we're independent, that means we're going to vote less for people stripping our freedoms away from us. Because remember, every time we give freedoms to them, they're giving us some type of security. They're giving us, stimulus checks. They're giving us transfer payments, welfare, whatever it is. But that's stripping some of your soul away from you. It's stripping your freedoms away from you. So we have to be very cognizant of that. And again, this is something we're going to continue doing daily, and putting out our thoughts in our investment letter. Again, link in bio. If you guys are liking this, please share with someone or tag someone that you think might enjoy this, talking about freedom. And there's things we go into in our investment newsletter that we can't talk about, unfortunately, on YouTube or TikTok, because again, freedom of speech. So a lot of what we do here is about freedom, and why it's so important, and how we are so different from how we are founded in all the wrong ways. There's some ways we're good that we're different from how we're founded, but when it comes to wealth, we are very opposite of what we need to be. So mortgage applications, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Mortgage applications are down. We talked about demand destruction a little bit. Mortgage applications, home starts are down. Interest rates are up. They've come back down a little bit, the 10-year, but they are climbing. The Fed, European Central Bank, they're doing things in the background, taking emergency action to get the rates under control, not being talked about at all. Obviously, the media, no one's picking up on that. That's why, again, we have to triangulate positions. We have to triangulate where we're at, what we're doing. That is how we can figure out where we are in what is real. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. Watching Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, Al Jazeera, The Guardian, Sky News, whatever it is, and then alternative sources as well. You round that out, say, 6 to 12 different sources, you're going to get the real truth somewhere in the middle. Going and watching and reading Russian newspapers, watching Russian newspapers here, watching the UK, watching German newspapers. You have to get the full signal of what's going on. So we have, like I said, we're in a recession. We started this out. We're in a recession, and this is a really, really big thing, because depending on who you talk to, again, some people say we're going into depression. Some people say we're going into a crazy recession. But I do believe if we get prepared, if we have food storage, gold, silver, Bitcoin, water on hand, we're able to farm a little bit, make a garden, we are going to weather the storm. And then when the smoke clears, boy, the upside, the investments that can be made when things are on fire, the smartest investors in the world are running into burning buildings. And who knows, I might not make it. I'm planning on making it. I'm planning on thriving on the backside of this and being there, but maybe I'm not. However, if hopefully one of you who cares about any of this at all, and that's why you're here, if you care about it, then hopefully you are there when the smoke clears to invest in unbelievable corporate dividend aristocrats, dividend paying stocks, whatever it might be, energy companies, tech stocks, whatever, they're paying awesome dividends, paying you cash flow each single month, each quarter, buying rental real estate, buying self-storage units, buying senior housing, buying multifamily apartments. If you can do that and weather the storm and be there when the smoke clears, whether we go through an inflationary depression or whether we go through a Great Depression like deflation, if you can do that, the sky is the limit afterward. We have to get through this crunch. And that's why I really believe having a little cash on hand, actual cash in case there is some deflation, and some powder dry, being serious to pick up more assets, but having gold, silver, Bitcoin, rental real estate obviously is good right now. But again, Bitcoin is the only thing that's really taken off in the last 10, 12 years. If you measure all the other asset classes, the stock market, S&P, real estate, it's all flatlined against the printing of the central banks. So people think that real estate goes up over time. I mean, nominally it does, but in real terms, it's gone flat in the last 10, 12 years. Same with the stock market. So gold, everything, it's just gone flat. So Bitcoin is the only thing that's outrun that. And when you look at Fidelity, what they've said about Bitcoin, it's incredible articles they've written, research papers, Bitcoin first, and then get off zero. It's paramount that you get some in your portfolio, get it off exchanges, get it into cold storage. It can be 1%, it can be 5%. I'm writing an article right now about the Social Security Fund, and if they put 1% of their assets into Bitcoin, and it does what people think it's going to do in the next 5 to 10 years, they could double or triple the whole entire Social Security treasury in just 5 to 10 years. Going from, I think it's about 3 or 4 trillion, they could go to 6 trillion, 8 trillion in assets. Because it's going bankrupt, so what do you have to risk at the end of the day? Because the game is basically pensions and 401ks, pensions, Social Security, they're going bankrupt. Medicare, Medicaid, they're going bankrupt. So what are we going to do? We got to start taking some real measured asymmetric risk, or else that's just going to be bankrupt. And what's going to happen is they're going to start inflating the currency away even more. They just bailed out the Illinois pensions, I believe, a year ago, and after the inauguration, and they're going to bail them out. And that means more inflation. That means more currency debasement. That means more inflation moving forward. So what are we going to do to prepare for that? And that's why earlier I was talking about primary assets and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That is so incredibly important. So again, if you guys are enjoying this, please like it, please subscribe, please share with somebody that you know and that you think that we might enjoy it. Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't enjoy it. If you don't like it, please comment there as well, because I would love to see what I'm not doing up to your standard or what I'm missing. So another thing, do we have a mental health problem in this country? I don't know. I'm asking the question. I mean, I have my theories. And whether it is WTF happened in 1971, and looking at the explosion in divorces, looking at the explosion in the loss of respect for life, looking at the explosion in just whether it's Hollywood entertainment, whether it's glorifying violence, all these different things, we have a massive problem, and we keep blaming other things and other people. And as I say, blame stands for be lame. When you're pointing your finger at somebody, you have all these fingers pointing back at you. So we don't want to blame. We want to take responsibility for our actions. And this is what so many of us are not doing right now. And I struggle with it. We're all human. I struggle with it every single day. So how can I continually get better and be more accountable and take better action every single day? So again, what do we think is going to be happening? What can we do to prepare? Do we think we're going to have more or less energy, food shortages, more famine, more drought? Do we think we're going to have more civil unrest, more violence? What do we think we're going to have moving forward? So if you think we're going to have more of those things, we probably should get out of the system. We probably should remove ourselves. Do we think we're going to have less violence? Do we think we're going to have less chaos? Do we think we're going to have less food shortages, famine? Then maybe staying in the dollar is fine. Maybe that's totally fine, and that's cool. You believe in the dollar long term. It's lost 99% of its purchasing power in the last 100 plus years. However, you think, the trend is going to go the other way. It's going to swing back and we're going to gain all that purchasing power back again. Then maybe you staying in the dollar is great. I only have enough cash available and powder dry for the next year or two, because I'm thinking about the option premium, the inflation, as Rick Rule says. I'm thinking about the inflation that's coming and what's happening right now, and that's 10 to 20% inflation premium you're paying each year. So you want to be able to have kind of some type of plan for that, whether it's, like I said, food storage, energy sources, water, gardening, Bitcoin, gold, silver. You want things to be able to put it into, because again, you can sell those things or you can lend against them if you need to in a squeeze, because those are very liquid things and that people need at the end of the day. So, what are we doing? Get stocked up now. Get your plan in order now, because we're getting towards the end of the track. This is, a lot of the exits it's like Back to the Future, when the train is going in Back to the Future 3, and the train's going and we're hitting the exit points, and then there's a point of no return. And then at that point, we're going off the bridge. Whether it's there or not, I don't know what's going to happen. If the bridge shows up, great, we're flying across. If not, then we're screwed. So this is the time that we're in. So get stocked up now so we can help other people, so we can be more resilient, so we can be more independent. And again, this is what we do here on this channel. It's all about freedom and resilience and removing yourself from the system. Everyone says they're sick of not having enough wealth, not having enough money, not having enough time, not having the right friends. Everyone says they're sick of what they're seeing on TV. They're sick of the bickering, they're sick of the fighting, they're sick of the arguing. However, very few people actually do something about it. Don't you find that odd? It's easier to just turn the TV on, be in the Roman Colosseum and just veg out, just zone out, grab your wine, grab your six pack. It's called bread and circus. The Romans did this. They gave the people bread and circus, and that was great for them because they just sat there, vegged out, just stoned out of their mind. And the government went and did things in the background, which is debase the currency, which is coin clip, melt them down, put copper into their gold and silver coins. And this just plays out over again. It's the 7 stages of empire. So what are we truly doing at the end of the day? How are we getting better? How are we going to prepare and be resilient for what's coming? So we're gonna wrap up here in 2 minutes. And remember, when we're promised free things from the government, we're trading our freedoms. We're trading our civil liberties every time we give or take something from the government. So be resilient, be independent. Lyndon Johnson knew this, Lenin and Stalin knew this. Lyndon Johnson was passing welfare, Great Society, and he even said, and it was actually about minority groups, he actually said, I'll have these people, didn't use that word actually, I'll have these people voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Straight quote from Lyndon Johnson. So these people are playing you. That's just life. Joseph Stalin, Vladimir Lenin, same thing. Playing you for a fool. And they even said, we need to debauch the currency, and we're gonna give you little pieces of socialism over and over again, and then someday you'll wake up and your kids will live in a communist state. We won't even have to fight you. So again, I'm paraphrasing some of these quotes, but this is the world, this is the state we live in right now. So I appreciate you guys more than anything joining in today on our pod, on our TikTok live. It really means a lot. We're going live on a bunch of platforms right now. So I appreciate you, and we look forward to, like I said, we'll be doing this at least every week and going in a little more of a deep dive. If people want to join in, then great. We'll answer some questions going forward. We'll probably do some longer ones. When Ron's around as well, we'll do some longer ones, probably do some 60 to 90 minute ones. We did a 90-minute session last week. And again, like I said, primary and tertiary assets are what we need to think about. Primary, and then tertiary is up here. Everything is derived from primary assets. So we want primary assets. So whether it's timber, lumber, timber, water, food, we want to own the actual primary assets and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you can't go wrong by investing in Maslow's first, second layer. You can't go wrong there. People are always going to need those things. So I appreciate you guys. Again, if you like this, please go to our link in the bio, go to our YouTube channel there, go to our newsletter. We talk about this every single day. It's about freedom. Wealth is the ability to have freedom, to do what you want, when you want, and not have anyone tell you about it. Whether it's owning Bitcoin or gold, silver, no one can take that from you. You cannot lose that unless you try to, but it's yours and no one can take that from you. And that's the biggest thing. And I truly believe at the bottom of my heart, if 5, 10, 20% of people act this way going forward, we're going to have a much different world, much different life. So I appreciate you guys more than anything. Like I said, if you like it, please share it. Please subscribe. Share with someone you think might like this or might not, or might care about freedom, maybe doesn't care about freedom. And like I said, like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on our videos, our next videos. And again, we'll be doing another live at minimum next week, next Wednesday. So appreciate you guys more than anything. Your time and energy is the most important asset we have. And we'll see you on the next one.